All right, everybody, number one. Next plane. Line for takeoff. I'll start this off. Unless you would like to.
I have a tendency if I was doing scouts for so long, at the end of it, you have scouts salute, there's two. It's the only time you can sit on.
I think I've asked Steve. He's the youngest one here. Steve. Started now. Call to order Poquoson City School Board meeting for June 21st, 2011. If we'd all rise for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we'll get started this evening, and we're going to start off with a presentation of the championship sign by Mr. Dave Callis, who's the Economic Development Director for the City of Poquoson. Mr. Callis.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the School Board, Superintendent Parrish. My name is Dave Callis, and I'm here this evening from the City of Poquoson. The City Manager could not be here tonight, and it is therefore my honor, on behalf of City Council, the City Manager, staff, and citizens, to make a special presentation to you in recognition and celebration of Poquoson City Schools state champions. We are very proud to acknowledge all the Poquoson City School state champions and offer our congratulations to them for their outstanding dedication and effort. Their achievements bring a deep sense of community pride for the entire city, and we salute them for a job well done. With that said, I'd like to ask Steve Pappas to come forward. In fact, he already has, to assist me with a special presentation. We are very proud on behalf of the city to make the presentation of this championship sign. And once again, our deepest gratitude and congratulations to all the state champions. Thank you for having me here this evening.
Mr. Callis, on behalf of the board, if you would please just relay back to City Council and Randy that the support from the city of our schools and school system is greatly appreciated. It's truly a partnership between the schools and the city, and it's just this is just fantastic. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure, Chairman Diggs. Thank you so much. We'll pass that along.
Thank you. Impressive.
Please sign.
All right, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, to the presentations and reports, and we'll start off with the Gifted Advisory Board by Megan Griffiths.
Good evening, Chairperson Diggs, members of the school board, and Dr. Parrish. My name is Megan Connolly Grothaus, and I'm currently the Talented and Gifted Advisory Board Chairperson. And it's my pleasure to represent the board and to offer you a brief summary of our activities this past school year. At this time, our board consists of several parent and faculty representatives from each of the primary, elementary, middle, and high schools. Our board has met approximately 6 times this year, with additional subcommittee meetings and conversations throughout the year in reference to our local plan. As the final state regulations governing gifted education were adopted this year, our district has worked diligently to revise our local plan to be in compliance with these new regs. As you may or may not know, the local plan is required to be revised every 5 years, and we submitted our plan last June and have until July 2016 before we undergo a technical review. We, as a committee, with Dr. Mike Cataldo, congratulations, with his leadership, we're already making sure that we're in compliance with the new regulations well before that date. One area in which we have been instrumental has been in the identification and implementation of a language arts program for our gifted learners. As the faculty and staff at the elementary school have guided and challenged our students to excellence in the areas of language arts, our district is expanding on a revised eligibility and curriculum for middle school language arts programs. So beginning in the fall of 2011, our TAG students will be served in the area of language arts with the science curriculum including an honors track. This is in an effort to continue the diverse and expanded curriculum our elementary students have received in their reading and written language programs, and we're very pleased with that progress. One of our continued goals as a board was to improve publicity and visibility of the TAG program and the board. And as in the past, one of our board members was present at each of the open houses this past school year, and several flyers have been received by many parents. But word of mouth continues to be the best source for referrals to the TAG board. And with the help of Mike, you, and our district staff, we really hope to grow in numbers on our board in the future. For the coming year, we have established several goals. The Gifted Symposium, which is a forum for presentations and discussions on the needs and unique styles and characteristics of gifted learners, is scheduled to be held next spring. We've decided to offer that every other year, so next year will be our year to offer that again. And as a board, we also hope to further evaluate and discuss the success of the New Horizons Governor's School program as it has changed its program, our virtual Virginia classes, and other alternatives available particularly to our high school students as we prepare them for competitive admissions into the top colleges and universities. We look forward to continued collaboration with the Poquoson City Schools staff and administration as we broaden our horizons in meeting the needs of our gifted children. We welcome you and your colleagues to join us at any of our meetings, and we thank you for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Board, any questions or comments? And then we'll move into the next item, our financial updates. Mr. Bowen.
Good evening, Chairman Diggs, school board members, and Dr. Parrish. I just have a brief financial update for you this evening. I'd hoped to have some final data on our sales tax revenue for the fiscal year 2011. However, that information has not come forward from the state as of today. So what I'd like to do is just tell you and highlight some of the events that are happening in the finance department. As you know, historically, this is one of our busiest times of the year as we transition into a new fiscal year. Our finance staff is working very diligently to close out fiscal year 2011 and open fiscal year 2012. And this process will take us through the end of the summer. Our annual audit has begun. Just last week, the auditors began their preliminary test work of fiscal year 2011. This will continue through off and on throughout the summer, and then they will come back to us full-time in September and hopefully be completed by October. Once their work is complete and a report is issued, we will share their findings with the board. In addition to our annual audit, we had auditors today visit us from the Department of Education, Virginia Department of Education, and they're beginning test work on the stimulus funds. Now, this is a new annual audit that's been added to our schedule, and it's come about as a result of the federal auditors auditing the state departments of education. There was a number of state departments of education, including Virginia, that was cited for not having provided enough oversight on the infusion of stimulus funds. So now this has trickled down to the local level. So this is something that we'll add to our schedule annually. We expect an audit report to be issued at the end of the summer. And again, once that report is issued, and we'll share those results with you. So with that, that's my finance update.
Or any questions for Bill?
How long does this audit take, the new audit?
The new audit, it took about 2 days for prep time to get the information for them. Now, what they do is I provided them with a notebook of backup documentation, had to copy a lot of records, and then they take it off-site, and they're doing their work back in Richmond. And then they'll call us if there's additional information or different additional documentation that they require. Now, this is the first year that they've started this, so they expect that it's going to be expanded in future years because they're just right now trying to catch up with everybody. They're actually auditing every local school division and higher institution of higher education. So they have a full plate, and it's handled by one person at VDOE and a couple of subcontractors. But they have a mandate to satisfy the federal requirements. So,
Is it going to be this time frame every year?
I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that this is your busiest time, and then they're coming in here, and on top of everything else you have to do, you got to stop and spend 2 days putting together this, and you're saying it's going to grow, and so it's more than likely it's going to just increase the workload on you, right?
And staff, yes.
And staff,
Finance
right.
staff. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do with that because with the limited staff that they have at VDOE and trying to
Right.
Implement these new requirements from the feds, they have so much on their plate. They're just trying to fit everybody in where they can. Now, we are one of their easiest audits according to them because we have received such few stimulus funds. So there was a lot less work on their part required of us, but I would say it was a lot of work on our part to give them what they needed.
One person, huh? And a few others?
And a couple of contractors.
Sounds
that's
like
correct.
one of those ready, fire, aim kind of things. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your work and your staff, and I know there was a lot on you, especially this time of year. So.
Thank you.
And I'm assuming this is a unfunded mandate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot of that going around these days.
And I remind you that these are audits in addition to the audits that Steve has to go through with food service, his federal audit, his VDOE audit, the program audits that Dr. Reevy and her staff have to go with on the federal side, and then our annual audit. So we certainly feel that we have a lot of eyes looking over our shoulders, and we feel comfortable that we're doing a good job. Staff is doing a good job. So I thank my staff.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Our next item is operations update. Mr. Pappas.
While Mr. Pappas is coming up, I just want to mention that he's going to focus much of his operations report today on the transfer of land that is an action item for you later in the agenda, so that if you do have any questions while you have a reading file and an actual file that shows you the picture of the land switching, this gives you a chance to really get a more detailed report.
Good evening, Chairman Diggs, school board members, and Dr. Parrish. With the culmination of the school year, we ramp up in the areas of custodial services, maintenance, and transportation. Doing summer school bus routes and preparing for next year's bus routes is something that we start now, and we're preparing for a host of other summer activities in each of those areas. We work with the principals and the assistant principals to develop a list of special projects that they would like to have us do, and we try to fold those into the myriad of things that we are performing this summer. We've also been working with the conclusion of last academic year and the onset of the new academic year with our various contractors, Aramark, our food service contractor, SSC, our custodial services contractor, and the YMCA, who provides necessary pre- and post-school services for many families in our community. These three contracts are listed in the consent section of our agenda, and they're the same as they have been in the past, with the exception of we've increased our fees to the YMCA to cover our increased maintenance costs. And then, as Dr. Parrish mentioned, as part of tonight's agenda in the section of your agendas known as Other Matters, permission is being sought to approve the transfer and receipt of real property to and from the city. The following PowerPoint presentation will serve to illustrate those changes. So basically, the city staff and the school division staff have worked together with the city attorney to develop the documents in front of you and the deeds and all of the background work to get to where we are today. During the construction of PES after Isabel, the school and the city got together and made an assessment of the property back there and said, whoa, we need to put a bore field here and we need to do this here, and some decisions were made that were very valuable and had great foresight. Tonight we're going to be talking about these transfers and how we have to reestablish boundary lines that actually reflect what's currently happening in those parcels. One of the things that's really important and kind of a driver for this is that the Little League plans to now build a concession stand on what should be city property, but is currently school property. I will show this and it'll all come together in the next slide, but basically there are two large baseball fields. The property upon which they are is ours, but it really should be the city's. The softball field, the property again is ours, and it too should be the city's. And the two geothermal fields that service the elementary school, the HVAC system, were owned by the city and really should fall under the auspices of our property. And here is the proposed parcel reassignment. And of course, using this aerial photo, you can see where you are. This is the home of our football team and our competition field. And what I will show you is that when we're all done, PCPS, that's us, will own this parcel as defined by this fence line boundary that's been created. These are the three fields that we spoke about. Formerly, the property line went like so, and then there's Park Street, and that was all the schools. And these lands, in fact, if you look here, this arch represents the old outfield. For anybody whose children are in their 20s, that's where they used to play baseball for Parks and Rec, and they used to all play Pee Wee football right there. And once the new elementary school was relocated, it made sense that there is the bore field here and the bore field here servicing that building. So this readjusts the boundaries and appropriately assigns the parcels to the people who are using them. And that's no ball.
Board, any questions? Mr. Pappas?
Is the new concession stand that the Baseball Little League proposing, where is that located? And is that going to be available for use during the football games? Is that part of their intentions?
It's my understanding that the location is considered to be right about here. And I believe that there.
Let me speak to that because the city manager and I have talked about this. Depending on once it's built, what we might be able to do with the gating system, what we may envision is that us accessing the restrooms, because they are building restrooms in that concession stand for the purposes of the football game. But in talking with folks at the high school, they don't envision people wanting to walk all the way over from the home side all the way over there for the concession stand, so the concession stand will remain where it is for football games. But it could be, especially visitors attending the game might use the restrooms there because they're right behind the visitors thing. I still think a lot of people on the home side the other restrooms are going to be much closer. So once the concession stand is built and we can see if there's a way to establish a gating system that allows us to access it but not let people out of the football game area, because remember, we do, once you're in, you stay in. You don't get to leave and come back and forth. So that's what we're going to have to look at once it's completed. So certainly we could access the concession stand. We will be able to use that at any time, but we just don't envision it being used for football games because of its location.
Are there any possible plans for renovating the existing concession stand?
That would tie into any renovation with the middle school as a whole. As we talk about the CIP, that would be true of the wrestling area. All of that back in that area is going to tie into that.
Does this switch play any change in our insurance from a liability standpoint?
The sizes are pretty comparable. I'm sure our VML insurance, who covers both of us now, will take a look at that. But I don't know that it's going to be material for us.
Okay.
The Little League is building the stand that will become city property.
Yeah, where the Little League is building the concession will be now once we make the switch on city property. The city is assisting the Little League in the building of this concession stand. I don't have all the details. So they are working together as they move forward with this. So in the end, I think the city may be assisting in maintaining it, but I don't know all of the details.
Maintenance costs, any difference there?
Well, we don't have to maintain the ball fields. And the fields that we have, the bore fields, any associated maintenance rightly should be ours. So it really rights the good thing that was done when they relocated the elementary school post-Isabel.
And we have not been maintaining those ball fields. The city has been because, so it really isn't going to change in terms of that.
Thank you, Mr. Pappas. All right, we'll move on to item D, instructional update. Dr. Revia.
Good evening, Chairman Diggs, school board members, and Dr. Parrish. Kind of following up with what Mr. Pappas presented, we have a strong partnership with our city. And as a small school division, partnerships are critically important to us to be able to provide the services that we want to provide to our students. Many of them we can provide ourselves, but oftentimes we join forces with other school divisions, the city, and just other entities to help us provide as high a quality of education as we possibly can. So tonight I want to touch on a couple of partnerships that are very valuable to us and our children. One, Mr. Melton and I attended a CTE luncheon and award ceremony last week, and I'm proud to say that Poquoson City Public Schools, in conjunction with several area school divisions and the Peninsula Council for Workforce Development and the Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, were recognized as Region 2 winners in the Business and Industry Partnership for Career and Technology Education at the state level. So we were very pleased to be able to go and receive that honor. Each of the regions can submit nominees, and we were selected for Region 2. Additionally, which we did not know as we traveled there, was that our region was also selected as the state winner, as a model for a partnership between local school divisions and business and industry to provide opportunities for young people to increase their awareness of career opportunities as they are in their high schools and as they look to post-secondary education. So I thought that was a great example to mention tonight about a partnership that we have been involved in. We've attended the Youth Career Expo for the last 3 years, and we hope that it will continue in years to come. And we are very appreciative of the businesses in this area who work together and partner with us to provide that to our students. Additionally, one of the things that school divisions make a commitment to is to furthering and enhancing the interest of individuals in going into the field of education. We can't teach our children if we don't have teachers. And I'm proud to share with you this evening that we placed almost 20 student teachers and 20 student observers this year, graduate students, undergraduate students, who are pursuing a career in education. This is a great way for us to be able to see see individuals who are interested in teaching, and oftentimes they result in hires for us. People that come into our school division get to know our community, get to know our staff and our students, and then continue with us. We also have hosted a student nurse, an individual who's in a graduate program at MCI, who has spent this past spring with us, as well as a school psychologist intern. So we're not only looking to partner with local schools and universities to provide us with potentially new teachers, but also with support personnel that are critical to our success. And some programs that are in our high school, one is the Special Friends program, and the other is the Teacher Cadet program that is taught by Mrs. Bowden this year. These are programs where we encourage young people to consider what a career might be if they were to work with young children. So the Teacher Cadet program is specifically focused on training students in a variety of topics related to psychology, lesson plan development, and they go out and partner with teachers in our school division at the primary school and the elementary school to provide additional support, much like paras provide support in our classes, except these are young people, and obviously we monitor them very closely. But we also have the Special Friends program, which is a program where our high school students can travel to both the primary and the elementary school to oversee and work with children reading, with math support, and a variety of other activities that provide those extra hands to allow our teachers to focus on teaching while they focus on the other many tasks that all of our teachers have to accomplish, that we have to accomplish in our schools each day. So hopefully, just with this brief highlight, our partnership with business and industry, our partnership with the college and universities, the partnerships that we are promoting by allowing our high school students opportunities to go to our primary and elementary school to work with teachers, all of these we think are going to benefit our school division in many ways, not just this year, but in the years to come. And I just wanted to take a moment and share those important partnerships with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Or any questions or comments?
No, except it was exciting to see us win that CTE award for the Peninsula, working together, all the 6 school divisions and many local businesses. Mm-hmm. I believe you did mock interviews for approximately 3,000 students that day.
Yes, sir, we did.
So it took about 200 local businesses to supply interviewers to do that. Or 200 interviewers to supply a lot of local businesses, I should say. So that was quite an effort.
I have a question.
Yes.
The Teacher Cadet program, is that, I'm pretty sure the Special Friends is they just get community service hours, is that correct? Is
Yes,
that the
ma'am.
same with the Teacher Cadet?
No, ma'am. Teacher
actually
Cadet
get
is a
credit?
credit-bearing course. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And it's a special curriculum that reaches out to young people in their high school years to encourage them to consider a career of education. And so it's a very structured curriculum, and they talk about child development, child psychology, lesson plan development, curriculum development. So it's a really unique program, much like many of our other career and technology education programs.
Okay.
And then a portion of that program is for them to go out, particularly during the second semester, and they partner with a mentor teacher, and they go every day to that teacher's class to provide support.
Or anything else? Thank you, Dr. Reed.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll move into our consent agenda. Bill, if you take us through that, please.
Tonight's consent agenda, we have approval of minutes of the May regular meeting and work session, and certification of closed meeting and closed. Approval of financial reports enclosed. Personnel action enclosed. Authorization to accept and expend revenue received from Medicaid Assistance Support Services enclosed. Authorization for PHS to apply for membership with the Virginia High School League for school year 2011-2012 enclosed. Authorization for the superintendent to execute a lease agreement between the Peninsula Metropolitan YMCA and the Poquoson City School Board for the continued use of Poquoson Primary School for a before and after school care program. Reading file enclosed. Authorization for the superintendent to execute a contract with Aramark to continue to provide food services to Poquoson City Public Schools. Reading file enclosed. Authorization for the superintendent to execute a contract with Service Solutions Corporations to provide custodial janitorial services to Poquoson City Public Schools. Reading file enclosed. I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Pat, would you please poll the board?
Mr. Inslee?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chairman Diggs?
Aye.
The motion was approved by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. We'll now move into other matters for consideration. Dr. Parrish, you take us through this first item?
Yes, we have in front of you the approval of the No Child Left Behind grant for the 11-12 school year. We bring this to you each year at this time, and I think since I've been with you each year, I've told you that funds continue to decrease in terms of the grant accessibility for us. This year, the federal government has actually removed or eliminated, rather, one of the grants, the Title IID technology grant. So I just wanted to again stress with you all and for the community that while, as Mr. Bone indicated, the federal auditing requirements continue to increase, as do all of the other requirements we face with No Child Left Behind, yet the funding continues to decrease. So, but it is funding that we do need, so we are recommending approval of the No Child Left Behind Act grant for the 11-12 year.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the approval of the No Child Left Behind Consolidated Grant application?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or comments? No. I just have one question. I'm not looking for an exact number, but do you know approximately what it dropped from this previous year? How much?
Yeah,
how
I
much
don't
has
know
been
what,
cut?
do we know what was in 2D?
It was about 2,000 in 2D, but we also had a reduction in Title I.
All right, it was about so it's about 2,000 in Title 2D, and then we had a slight drop in Title I. So,
Okay.
but we can get that exact figure to you.
No, I just wanted to get a feel for how much it was dropping. Okay. If no other comments, would you please poll the board?
Mr. Inslee?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chairman Diggs?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. All right, our next item is consideration of approval of the appointment of student representative to the school board.
Yes, I move that the board approve Kelly Jasinski as the student representative for the next school year.
Thank you. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second. Do we have any discussion or comments?
The process we had, I believe it was 10 applications this year, if I'm not mistaken. And so we 3 of us met with each of the candidates and went through a series of questions with all of them. And we were able to narrow it down to several there, and we really struggled with the last few because there were a lot of good candidates this year. I believe Kelly will serve us well. She was well-spoken. She had a very pleasant disposition, and I think she'll do well.
Very good. Any other comments or questions, discussions?
I think the committee did a really good job, and I think they've really have some interest in that position now that I don't think we had in the past.
And Mr. Wright at the high school was very instrumental in promoting this year as well, so I'd like to thank him.
All right, with the motion on the table, would you please poll the board?
Mr. Inslee?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chairman Diggs?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 6-0.
And with that, I would just like to congratulate Kelly Zazinski on her appointment. We'll move to item C, consideration of adjustments to the adult meal prices. Dr. Parrish?
Yes, we're bringing forward to you another adjustment in meal prices. As you may remember, we had at a previous board meeting the adjustment to the student meal prices. Since we brought that forward to you, Mr. Pappas has attended some additional meetings, offered by the Department of Education that is giving us more information tied to the new federal act that is driving the increase in prices for us. So we are proposing a price increase from $2.60 to $2.85 so that we can meet the requirements that we now face. I will tell you, we would have had to move it to a price of $2.81, but we're requesting a price increase to $2.85 because it'll make it a little more manageable at the cash register when people pay. So with that, we recommend approval of the adjustment to the adult meal prices for next school year.
Do I have a motion for approval of the motion to approve adult meal lunch prices for 2011-2012?
I move we approve the adult meal prices for school year 2011, 2012.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussions or comments? Would you please poll the board?
Mr. Inslee?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chairman Diggs?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. Item D is consideration of the resolution of the transfer of school-owned real property of the city of Poquoson and receiving real property from the city. Dr. Parrish, any other comments on that?
I would just like to add a thank you to Mr. Pappas. He's worked very closely with the city staff to move forward. We've been working on this for about 6 months now because we had to get research surveys done and working through some of those legal issues. Also do know that it's our hope that the other side of this will be on council's agenda next week, so they'll be approving the other shift. So once all that's done, then the deeds will be sent to the courthouse. So with that, I just recommend approval of the transfer of property.
Do I have a motion for the action item for the transfer of the school-owned property?
I move that we approve the transfer of the school-owned property to the city of Poquoson.
And a second?
Second.
Any comments or discussions? Hearing none, would you please poll the board?
Mr. Inslee?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chairman Diggs?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. All right, last item under matters for consideration is consideration of authorization for the superintendent to sign the Virginia Municipal League member agreement. Dr. Parrish.
Yes, you have a reading file enclosed, but the Virginia Municipal League, for our viewing audience, is the organization that does provide us our insurance. And so each year we need to renew our membership with them. And they also are very helpful. At times we've been able to call upon them to give us advice in terms of risk management and some other issues related to it. So with that, I recommend that we sign the agreement with them again.
Great, do I have a motion?
I'll move we approve authorization to sign the Virginia Municipal League member agreement.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Any comments or discussions? Pat, would you please poll the board?
Mr. Inslee?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Mr. Melton?
Aye.
Ms. Sidner?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chairman Diggs?
Aye.
The motion passed by a vote of 6-0.
Thank you. All right, this will move us into public comment. Do we have any this evening?
We have none.
Okay. Then we'll go into communications. Dr. Parrish.
Yes, just one thing I want to mention. We've talked about this a little bit tonight in terms of requesting the approval of the grant application for the No Child Left Behind, which you have now approved. Please know that we are very carefully watching what's going on in Washington right now. The No Child Left Behind Act is up for reauthorization and has in fact been up for reauthorization since I believe 2007. So there's some movement, but we're not very optimistic that it will be reauthorized by the start of next school year. We're beginning to see some talk from the administration of potentially considering giving waivers to states, but we're not sure how that will play out for us or generally for the country. So we'll continue to update you throughout the summer as we move closer to the start of next school year to see if they are able to get a reauthorization done. We are hearing that if it is not completed by the time this school year begins, chances are it will not be reauthorized until after the next presidential election, which pushes it out even further. As I've mentioned multiple times, the regulations and requirements continue to be raised that are tied to No Child Left Behind Act. And if it's not approved till the next presidential election, there's a chance that all schools across the country will have to have 100% pass rates on all tests, because that will be in play by the time it would then be looked at again. As you know, we've talked about this in numerous meetings. We are concerned that we are not going to meet those requirements when we get all of our scores back this summer for next year. We may be facing some federal sanctions starting next school year, but again, we'll be updating that you on that as we receive data from the state, which we still won't get for quite a bit now for a number of our tests. So we'll keep you up to date. I think you're going to see more and more talk about this in the media as we move through the coming months, when we look to see what Congress is able or unable to do as we move forward. Also, I want to just let you know that I will be in July really beginning to look at fiscal year 13 budget. I believe council is holding a budget retreat, which I will come and meet with them on to give them just some sense of where we think we could be headed next year. But in reality, as we all know, we really don't have a good sense until the governor puts his budget out in December. So anything that we know now is really speculation. But on a positive note, I'd like to thank everybody for a very successful school year, and graduation on Saturday was wonderful, and it was just terrific to see all of those students walk across the stage. And it really took the work of the staff of our school division, starting with our preschoolers all the way up to our 12th grade teachers, that made that difference to help those students so they achieved that milestone and are now out in the world as of this week. So thanks to everybody that's done so much for our students, including the folks in our school board office, because they contribute to that education as well. So, and I hope everybody has a very restful summer. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Inslee.
Well, I would like to congratulate the classes of 2011 for their academic, athletic, and social accomplishments. And I would also like to thank the teachers and staff of all 4 of our great schools for the past year. And I challenge the class of 2012 to meet or exceed these accomplishments. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Pryor?
Congratulations, graduates, and thank you to all the teachers and the staff who made this a successful year. Have a very safe summer and come back to us next year. And I would like to say that I attended the band concert the other night, and it was very good as usual.
In addition to attending the state CTE awards luncheon, I was able to attend the usual CTE advisory committee meeting. We're still working with career clusters and career pathways. And I would say this area of the Virginia, we're blessed with a lot of things going on with CTE that other areas don't receive the same enjoyment of. So they're trying to get some governor schools in other areas of the state and trying to promote partnerships. But we have good partnerships right here on the peninsula, so I would say we enjoy those things here locally. Graduation day was a very special occasion, and I'd like to appreciate everything the staff did, including down to the guys who worked the parking lot. Were very helpful. And everyone seemed to be on station and making it a great day. And yep, final band concert for me as a parent, but I think you'll see me out there as a school board member. So, always good. Thank you.
Robin.
I'd like to extend my congratulations to all the graduates, and I also attended the New Horizons CTE graduation, and there were a lot of happy people getting their certificates, and I look forward to Dr. Rivera probably in the fall will get those numbers on exactly how many Poquoson students earned certificates. And I would like to thank City Council for the sign. I'm not sure where it will go. I'm assuming as we come into the city on Victory Boulevard.
Yeah, there are actually 2 signs. So they have a sign that will be put out as you're coming into the city, and that sign we'll probably put somewhere at the high school. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Yes, it's very large, but it's a very nice tribute to all our athletic accomplishments, and thank you very much for that.
Hey, Mr. Smith.
I'd like to thank Dr. Parrish and Mr. Wright for putting on a nice, smooth graduation ceremony. I think everything went really well there, and I'd like to thank Mr. Wright for his help in helping me at that ceremony. Also, I'd like to thank the whole school board employees for another good year. Basically a good smooth year. Dr. Parrish and her staff all the way down. The schools, I think, are going in the right direction with the items that Dr. Reevy is working on, and I think that's going to start to show more and more each year as we move forward. But I think the whole thing has made a turn, and a turn for the better. Like I said, I think we'll see the results of that each year going forward. But I'd like to thank everybody for the time they put in, the effort they put in, because they do an outstanding job, and we just don't notice them or recognize them enough. That's all I have.
And I'd like to second that. Along that same lines, it's been a very difficult year from a financial standpoint, yet our staff has risen to the challenge, our school board staff, and making it seem effortless. I know in order for them to do that, it's been an extreme effort on all of our staff. And seeing the students walk across the stage at the graduation shows you it's all worthwhile. Yeah. You see in the looks on their faces and the applause from their family, knowing that they're now ready to go on to that next step in their life, it makes it all worthwhile. And just a great deal of gratitude to our teachers and our school board staff. Also like to thank the school board members for this last year as we're coming to the end of this year. Working with y'all has been a highlight of mine. A board that can work through the issues that we've had to deal with from a budget standpoint, and from making sure that we're moving in the right direction, and the sense of working together for the schools. I can't imagine working with a greater group of people than this board. So it's been a very good year. Thank you for that. To all the students that are moving on, congratulations. To the students that are coming back next year, enjoy your summer. It will fly by. To the teachers, hopefully you'll get a well-deserved rest. To our school board office, sorry, you're definitely not going to get a rest. This is some of the busiest time for y'all as the students are out of the schools, and Mr. Pappas, to all the people that are scurrying around, taking advantage of the schools being semi-empty to get things done. Again, just can't say thank you enough to everybody that supports Poquoson Schools. With that, we will adjourn into our work session.